as a brand, halal certified is very important. It's a guarantee of quality and hygiene compliance. Halal certified is obligatory for Muslims, preferred by non-Muslims. Halal certified is internationally recognized and established brand world over. Halal certified is a demand of 1.9 billion Muslim consumers world over. It's a sales booster to enter the $3 trillion halal economy, a very strong USP. Fulfills the mandatory halal requirement to enter many countries by removing the non-tariff barriers from your product. Strong USP to market, especially to the Muslim consumers. It discharges your responsibility as a supplier to supply authentic brand when the certifying agency comes in, does their work, gives you a brand a logo, so you are discharged from your responsibility. It enhances your consumer confidence that you are supplying an authentic halal products. Benefit for this world and hereafter, inshallah. My last slide is the summary. The religious value of halal is supreme. I always talk about the branding and the financial economic aspect, but then we should not forget the religious value is supreme. All SOPs, all standards are under the Sharia, under the religious value. But all the countries who have made on the top of the halal economy, the 10 countries I mentioned, and all of the countries have all got one thing in common. They all recognize the economic benefit of halal. They all recognize that halal can be used as a brand to get economic benefit for their country, for their companies, and which is what they are doing. And this awareness is missing in OIC countries, unfortunately. All the countries I go to, they don't treat halal as a brand which can help them sell their product. And that is one of the major reasons why we have not been able to get into the international market. We have to recognize the good quality and healthy health aspect of halal, because that is recognized by global Muslims and non-Muslims world over. And as soon as we start recognizing the power of halal as an internationally known brand, it will be helping us get into the international halal market. My email and phone numbers are here. I'll be happy to answer any question later on. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Sajjad. Nice presentation, and you promote international brand. You will see. Inshallah. Now we will move to the next speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Aydoğan Soygüden from Turkey. Aydoğan Soygüden holds master degrees from Dowling College, New York, USA, and holds a doctoral degree on 9 Eylül Mayıs University in Samsun in Turkey, where he works as an associate professor at the Erciyes University Faculty of Support Science Support Management Program in Kayseri, Turkey. His main research focus lies on sports management, sports economic, and sports and social science. Please, you can be ready. His last 2 years he's with us. He gives something about daily life, about sports and sport weddings, and because this session normally was sponsored by the Moderniza. Moderniza is one of the famous Turkish company, but also moderator was waiting from them. I think she has some health problem, she couldn't come. I am trying to represent the Moderniza, but sorry for my low information about your sectors. Please,
okay, thank you.
Can start.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to, my title is Study of the Relationship Between Halal Lifestyle and Obesity. Hangisiydi? Bastım mı? Ah, tamam, pardon. My name is Aydoğan Soygüden. I work at the Erciyes University, Kayseri. And I would like to give some of introduction about halal lifestyle. Halal lifestyle is a concept that has become important in today's world at work, home, trade, working life, health, and daily life. It is one of the rules that determines the relations of people with each other. The halal lifestyle has become a set of rules that must be followed in all areas while living our lives. Halal life rules are important factor that determines the social orders and norms. The aim of this study is to determine the relationship between halal lifestyle and the obesity. Now I'm going to talk about halal life in Islam. Islamic fiqh scholars have begun to consider the concept of halal life, which allows to reach all their needs within the scope of halal in today's globalizing life conditions. Therefore, from our halal life beliefs to social facts, from nutrition to cosmetic, from medical treatment to pharmacy, from clothing to shelter, from tourism to entertainment, from packaging to transportation, from marketing to economy, even within this discipline, it covers all stages of life. According to data of World Health Organization, 60% of the quality of healthy life depends on the lifestyle. The criteria about the behaviors that Muslim should follow are mentioned in the verse of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sunnah. The criteria stated by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam include criteria covering the whole of life, such as how to live, eat, and sleep, as well as about beliefs and worship. Now I'm going to talk about obesity. In recent years, obesity has become rapidly increased disease among people. Obesity is disease caused by excessive calorie intake and less physical activity. Obesity, more energy intake than consumed, is the most important cause of the obesity. Obesity is the condition of excessive lubrication of the body above acceptable levels. Many genetic and environmental factors such as heredity, gender, ethnicity, sedentary lifestyle, and lack of physical activity are responsible for obesity. Worldwide, at least 2.8 million people die each year as a result of being overweight or obese. An estimated 35.8 million are overweight or obese globally. Overweight and obesity are defined as abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that poses a risk to health. A body mass index of 25 and above is considered overweight, and a body of 30 and above is considered obese. The most accepted method in obesity screening is the calculation of body mass index. This is I'm talking about body mass index. 18.5 to 24.9 is normal. More than 25 to 29.9 is overweight, and over 30 is obese. Then also on the right side of how the obese people, how they figure is there. Now I'm going to talk about, I got this data from World Health Organization. I put some of Muslim countries. This is the population of 18 and over, body mass index. Now we can see the red is show for the female, blue is the male, and the gray is for total data. Now we can see all the red line is female. All these Muslim countries, 40% of the female population of these countries is obese. I mean, body mass index is over 30. Male is a little bit less, but still high. Now I'm going to show now also some of countries here. I'm going to talk about Turkey. The blue line for the male, 24% of the total male population is obese. 40% of the total female population is obese, and total 32% of the total population consists of people body mass index at the level of obese. Now I'm going to show the highest one is Kuwait. 33% of the total male population is obese, 44% of the total female population is obese, and total 37% of the total population is obese. Now I'm going to show the non-Muslim countries. The highest one is USA. There's also same red line is for the female, blue line for the male, and gray for the total. Now, USA, 37% of the male population is obese, 38% of the total female population is obese, and 37% of the total population is obese. Only USA is higher, but all the other countries a little bit less than the Muslim countries. The England, 29% of the total male population, 30% of the total female population, and 30% of the total population is obese. This is 2019. I got from World Health Organization data. Now, I'm coming back to Muslim countries. I mean, I want to mention that like 30 or 40 years ago, our lifestyle wasn't high. Now our life standard is very high right now. And 30 or 40 years ago, we don't have anything like this data. We wasn't obese because our life standard was low, and we are getting hard time to reach food. But now, after 40 years, our life standards getting really high. Now we're reaching the food very easy, and that's the I'm thinking why we become like this. That's I mean, we right now facing our life standard is very high. That's the reason we be getting hard time on this. I believe we should work on this, and then we beat the obesity. Okay, now I'm talking about the Salat prayer, because in Salat we do some physical exercise. I want to mention that a little bit. The Salat is a prayer, is a spiritual and physical activity in which the muscular system of the human body becomes active without muscle fatigue and causes calmness in the body and spirit. Salat prayer has benefits on people, physical, such as musculoskeletal system, and such as cells and tissue organ system, living organism characteristic, because almost all muscle of the body and joint are used during prayer. I'm just passing some of the sentence. And now I'm going to talk about nutrition. According to Islam, not to waste as much as clean and halal food is a basic principle, and it is necessary to stay away from all kind of waste. Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, eat and drink, but do not waste. Surely Allah doesn't like the wasteful. In commands in Al-Araf. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the stomach is the house of disease. The essence of the treatment is abstinence. He warns people against eating too much. And also Allah commands in Al-Araf, do not waste. To waste meaning not throwing away. Also putting in stomach extra food, that's also waste. The direction and guidelines for eating in Islam are: eat and drink, but do not waste. Start eating with the name of Allah and stop eating with the thanks to Allah. Wash your hands before start of eating. Eat in group of 2 or more with the intention that food. Eat slowly with honor, dignity, and concentration. The Islamic saying, the food of one is sufficient for 2, is a good example of controlled eating. The instruction, stomach should be divided in 3 portions, 1 for food, 1 for water, and 1 for air, is again a good example of controlled eating. Now, discussion, there are many things that can be done in primary care for the prevention of obesity, which has become an important health problem, and its prevalence is increasing in the society. The importance of adopting lifestyle change, which is the first step approach in the treatment of all chronic disease as the basis of primary prevention before disease occurs and from childhood becomes evident. At the beginning of the environmental factors that are the sedentary lifestyle, which is common in developed and developing countries, and diet that is easily accessible and rich in calories and fat. First of all, making the concept of good deed, salih amel, highlighted by the Quran, depends on a person being healthy and working efficiently. A person who eats a healthy and balanced diet obtains the energy necessary for worshiping, working, and producing. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ drew attention to the way of life of mankind and gave advice on a healthy and balanced diet. Now I'm on the last page, conclusion. Active sport life with correct eating habits is the most effective solution against obesity. Every opportunity should be used to engage in active sport activities, such as the rules required to live in society must be followed. Some rules must be followed individually to protect our own personal health and ultimately the social health. Religious rule, which is one of the social rules, is one of them. Islam states in the detail how the lifestyle of Muslim should be. The religion of Islam provides a lot of information about how our lifestyle should be in the verses of the Quran and hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Being healthy is primarily about protecting our body and soul, which Allah has entrusted to us. As a result, high amounts of food and low exercise are thought to be behavior that does not fit the halal lifestyle. The extra food we take into our bodies is waste. In the Quran, in Araf, Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, eat, drink, but do not waste. Surely Allah doesn't like the wasteful. Allah commands in the form. Thank you very much. Halal and healthy lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Aydoğan Soygu'dan. I think you are talking about me. Yes, I will read again the presentation carefully. He talked about lifestyle and obesity. Inshallah, if there's any question at the end of the session, we will ask. I have no questions. Thank you, brother. Now we move to another speaker from very far place, from Malaysia, Mr. Datuk Seri Moht Rizal. Moht Rizal is a Malaysian-born and raised business consultant, human capital professional, and social advocate. Over the past 3 decades, he has worked in a variety of professional capacities in both the private and public sector. He has more than 20 group of companies under the Euro Jasmine Holding, etc., Malaysia, Indonesia, in Philippines, and Thailand. Locally, he has been involved as advisor in Unity of and Integration Department under Prime Minister's Department of Malaysia. His involvement in tourism, in the tourism and education sector had kicked him into the global arena, allowing him to share his expertise further. His social advocacy success involves halal development in Philippines, anti-earthquake homes in Indonesia, leading an earthquake humanity in Sabah, and a charity drive under Palestine Humanity Foundation. Rizal is also a recognized speaker in halal development for Malaysia and international. He trains and organizes a group of rural area people in agriculture where they had planted and made a success outcome of an income in planting process, etc. is a long CVs. I think this is enough. We will listen about him about the main topics: new era, new normals, necessity of halal production and consumption, halal lifestyle of new areas. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Excellency Sesan, the organizing committee, and also Ms. Dilek, who have been very kind and having me today. Okay, my name is Rizal. I'm the Group Executive Chairman of Euro Jasmine Holding Malaysia. So that's my number and also the email. So let's go to the outline. Make it very fast because 12 minutes, too short, but we try to do it. So we have introduction, we have halal lifestyle ecosystem, then we have lifestyles, change of behavior, and also conclusions. So we come to the first one, introductions, where lifestyle is a synonym to our daily life. It is our routine and everything that we're doing. So basically what I'm trying to say is that during this new era, after the pandemics have hit, the changes are rapidly faced by us throughout the world. So now it comes to the time that we have to learn, we have to practice, we have to enforce, we have to implement. What people are looking now is hygiene and safety. And definitely, you know, we see everybody goes, everywhere we stand, 1.5 meter. We have social distancing. And also we have to have masks to be wear everywhere. Very moderate thing as that has been accepted and practiced by many nowadays. Then we have pandemic has made us all find, learn, understand, and accept a healthy lifestyle, which is crucial to our life now. And we do not know how long we are going to face the same thing. Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? But we are going to practice this, to live with pandemic. Certain countries have moved to endemic, but they are coming back to pandemic. Even Malaysia, our country, we are not allowed not to wear masks when you go out. And we have been having a digital system. Without showing the digital system, you even cannot enter your office, restaurant, shopping complex, etc. So we have to complete our second dose. If you are not going to have your second dose, you are not allowed to come out from the house also. So it will be the best for halal and all Muslim-friendly lifestyle to be emphasized for people to use at this moment. This is the right time. Don't wait, because we have been talking, trying to come up with all the ideas and systems. But I believe this is what we have to move now. As the name of halal or Muslim-friendly lifestyle suggests, it is already giving confidence for people to accept and use in their daily life. Why I say Muslim-friendly lifestyles? Because some people, they have been having accreditation system, process and audit, and they know they are eligible. But the certification to be waiting too long to be issued by the bodies, the government bodies, so we can consider them before the halal being given Muslim-friendly lifestyles. There's a lot of people start using this to make sure the halal is not left out. Muslim and non-Muslims look forward to have more for this upcoming new era and new normal, and it will be the right time for the halal lifestyle to be delivered to the people, this time much more systematically and friendly. This is the right time, I've been talking to some of the speakers also. We do not wait. Come, let's go move forward to see, to work, to implement what we can do. Make people understand with simple introductions and information which will definitely be accepted by people in the world who are already affected. People are already affected, as we know. 1 year, 2 years, we have not been traveling anywhere. So make it simple to be accepted, because if you say halal, everybody knows. Even non-Muslim, they understand what is halal. This will take a full swing and change where halal becomes very important. Halal has everything in it, and this has made everything in halal meet the needs and requirements of a person's everyday of their lives. This incorporates different standards, values, and principles that we follow on a daily basis, and it is important to be permissible according to the Islamic religion. Halal lifestyle aspects, halal lifestyle ecosystem. Halal, which covers not only the Sharia requirement, but also the sustainability concepts of hygiene, sanitation, and also safety aspect, make halal food readily acceptable by consumers who are concerned about food safety and healthy lifestyle. This is what's going on now, everywhere. Halal food, most important value than anticipated products that the Muslim and non-Muslims are looking for, need to ensure that we do not tolerate any damage being done to the name of halal. We have to be together to make sure no more damages to be done. As I say, we have to wake up, we have to move forward as a team to work towards what we have been working for all this while. Halal carries and gives confidence to the consumer to consume at all times. Strict and standard enforcement need to be imposed to avoid any misuse by any irresponsible parties. Halal has made many business in the industry attempt to take this opportunity to increase the production, as it is already become a major market force. Upcoming new era and new normal shows tremendous increase of awareness from the people around the world about their lifestyle. A healthier lifestyle may continue as people have realized its importance. Rapid rise in sales of halal food throughout the world and the growing demand for halal products from the sales starting from year 2020 up to now, which the graph is showing with continuous increase. It doesn't show decrease, it's continuous increase. With the awareness, the providers also must take all the necessary steps to accommodate the needs and requirements of the consumers with standard operating procedure. This will give a big relief for consumers where they know it is safe and hygiene, which carries the name of halal. The rapid spread of COVID-19 and its impact have raised awareness of health and well-being, where medication plays an important role for people around the world. Consumers in both emerging and developed economies have postponed larger expenditures, focusing more on products especially related to body immune system is on high demand now. Even the vaccine for COVID-19 had to be declared as halal. That's why a lot of countries, most people, is still confused whether it is halal or non-halal. But we all know when it comes to medication, If your life is at stake, we have no choice. That's part of our duty to tell the people in the world also now. Pity a lot of people who do not want to take vaccine lost their family members, friends, even the loved ones. I've lost my brothers because of COVID, because he don't believe on vaccine. Even the vaccine for 19 vaccine had to be declared as halal. That clearly shows that all the products for consumption are being halal certified, as people are getting very concerned of halal in world nowadays. The pharmaceutical products, global data believes that the collaboration between Pfizer and BioNTech will face fierce competition from other pharmaceutical companies such as Johnson & Johnson, Gillette, and Amgen. They are having a competition. Even lately, the president of Philippines himself have issued a decree that all pharmaceutical products in Philippines must have halal certification. Pharmaceutical company will find its own unique strategy to support patients, as not doing so could lead to detrimental effects on reputation, global data said. People are completely going for safety and hygiene for the new era and new normal, because health conscious is the most important concern for the people lifestyle. Clothes is being big factor in people's daily lifestyle, which is one of the biggest concern in the spread of coronavirus besides other viruses. The lifestyle related to fashion also changed, where people started to cover fully complete with masks to avoid from being infected. Even non-Muslim, they are wearing this. So, as I say, we all must agree that halal, again, playing the most important things at this moment. The fashion world has also changed, where the designers are coming up with more fashion wear, with priority given to safety wear for the people when they are out of their homes. Lifestyles through fashion can be always used to attract the people to follow without any force. The pandemic changes in mobility through factors like lockdown, social distancing, working from home, and health concerns. The travel industries also have changed their system for better assurance regards to safety and healthy must come first at all times. Nowadays, people look to have a complete system of traveling, whether for the purpose of business or leisure. People want to ensure that it is very safe to travel to any part of the world where they are already going through a traumatic period of being unable to travel during the pandemic period. For the last 1 to 2 years, this is what happened to us. We all have gone through a traumatic period. The upcoming travel market will give a big impact again during this pandemic, and it will be the right time for all the travel industry's business people to adopt. This will ensure the travelers to have a safe travel, safe lodging, and safe food. Lockdowns that have been confined people to their homes and limited outdoor activity have been accompanied by the spike in the pet adoptions across geographies. Economies around the world is looking forward and eager to have the tourists back to visit their country like before the pandemic attack. The mechanism should be changed to attract the tourists to travel because of the new era, new normal. The most important that required and looked forward by travelers is safety and hygiene at all times. To make the changes work and well accepted by travelers, providing a standard mechanism of traveling kit or standard operation procedure, which can be upgraded for betterment, which is always referred to halal Muslim-friendly travel. Coverage of the halal lifestyle. The COVID-19 has forever changed online shopping behaviors. Digital adoption is no longer age-related, but has become mainstream across generations. All age groups have begun to adopt a millennial mindset, where they rely on friends and digital channels to learn and buy rather than traditional information sources. The increase of the online purchase during this pandemic period shows the awareness towards the health and safety issues. The new norm will continue to be one of the main important awareness for the present and future. This is the time for the halal manufacturer and business provider to promote more aggressively to reach the consumer around the world, to check on all the updates through the media social, which is the most powerful promotion platform at this moment, and believe that will be the continue to be there for future. As you see, the growth of average spending per month, it goes up 11%, 23, 27, 26, 29, 32, 35, 43, 48, 53, and then the travel tourism is 75. That is what they have already spending per month, the growth of average. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's already a mindset of everybody now. Whenever they want to travel, whatever they want to eat, whatever they want to wear, or even they want to talk, they'll think 10 times, because safety and hygiene come first. This is what we have been talking, as I again reminding that we come here every year, we gather here, we table up, we present our findouts. Businesses are experiencing loss, workers are without jobs, and many face the challenge of complete upheaval of lifestyle. Adopting a halal lifestyle during and after the pandemic periods is important for Muslims and also for non-Muslims. It implies that the lifestyle we adopt and choose for ourselves is considered one. Too many people lost their jobs. A lot of businessmen have to close their business. A lot of hotels have to close them. So many people have affected during the pandemic. So now it's already began to open the doors slow. Certain countries are lifting and make it the travel movement easier. So it is the best, a standard kit of standard operation procedure to be delivered or exercised to be implemented to all these countries, especially to the OIC countries. That means the people are more eager to travel. It is like that they are going to accept and be comfortable with halal efforts. One of the self-awareness of hygiene and halal health, safety and security, independence and self-determinations. It is simply wholesome and awesome. So this is what we have been talking, the goals, the lifestyle, move, healthy, training, active, marathon, success, fitness, energy, resolutions, business, wellness. So people are start going into it, but how are we going to go back? It's already affected. Once affected, people are taking 2 steps behind. Are we going to change at this moment? And the answer is yes, we have to do it now. Our halal lifestyle is an ethical one without force, discriminations, bias, or prejudice. A halal lifestyle guarantees and manages the morality of whatever we say or become involved in. Halal plays a major role during this pandemic and has proved to the world that anything related to halal is always safe to practice and consume, and it will be a very important thing looked by Muslim and non-Muslim. It's not only the Muslims are looking forward, but the non-Muslim are looking forward to this. If you go out there, you ask any non-Muslims about halal, they will tell you, yes, we know about halal. Halal lifestyles, the conclusion is, in conclusion, maintaining a halal lifestyle offers us nothing else except modesty, sustainability, safety, and stability in our lives. In essence, halal is the right of every Muslim, but it is indeed a privilege for every non-Muslim. It will be the best time for all the halal practice to put more efforts to promote the halal concepts through the digital platform, or any way as this pandemic period has made many people to accept the exist and also the role of halal in theirs. As it is believed that is in future, with the new norm, all the industries, especially halal, will be the priority for the consumers. The practitioner like us So all of us need to come up as soon as possible that we have to do something now, not later, now, to make sure that whatever we say, we do, is acceptable and appreciated by the people. So the reference that I've been table out, you can see all the references here, number 1, number 2, 3, and 4. So that's all. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Datuk. It's a very comprehensive presentations. You mentioned all issues. You summarized the conference. Thank you very much. Now we have a very famous name, a mediator, ambassador, founder of the Global Islamic Trade and Investment Forum and Halal place in UK, our sister Saida Ahmed. Ms. Saida is involved on global level on the development and growth of the halal economy from an ethical and socially responsible model perspective. She is driven by and passionate with our 20 years of solution drivers projects which benefit to the economy, society, and industry. Saida, as a postgraduate of the Cambridge University, has developed executive networks for benefit of economies, peoples, and environment. Ms. Saida, she's creates turnkey solution that grows industry, provides localized skills development and capacity building. Ms. Saida is also has spoken in Davos 2020 about sustainable cities, YC opportunities, and connecting with the Istanbul Declaration, and spoken at our 100 conferences. She has a principle agreed the funding and development of sustainable city in heart of the OIC countries. She's in our heart. Welcome. Now, stage yours. We are seeing you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope you're all awake. I hope I'm going to inspire you, hopefully, inshallah, and make you think about some of the things that I'd like to see talked about more within the Islamic economy and the halal economy. So I don't want to talk too much about what halal lifestyle is on its own, but actually give practical examples and also the opportunities for us all. These are my contact details, but you'll see them towards the end as well. So first of all, what is lifestyle? And Oxford Dictionary describes lifestyle as the way a person lives. But that impacts on, for example, values. What do you believe in? What are the guiding principles that you live your life through? Your health and well-being. And we're not just talking about physical health here, we're talking about mental health, well-being, positive thinking. And I think that sometimes we can get very close-minded because we have gone into a structure of silos again, that we think it's only about this, where actually the Islamic definition of health and well-being is our spiritual health, thinking positive, not thinking bad about others, not having self-doubt and so forth. I'm bringing into that concept of well-being rather than just physical health. So the whole idea, how are you well in terms of your place as an individual, but also in a family, in society, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual state. Then looking at eating, not just eating, but food security, nutritional security. So looking at it as an individual, but then spanning it out as all the other factors. Through that, the consumer choices we're making, everything from fashion, housing, finance, and so forth. And then where we work and how we work. and then looking at business, trade, enterprise. So I look at lifestyle as more than just, you know, our retail choices and our consumer choices, to something which is a lot more holistic. And for the purpose of this presentation, I'd like to look at halal lifestyle is that which conforms to the values of Islam, but also Muslim cultures and communities, because not everybody is the same. Our lives are different depending on the circumstances of us as individuals, but also where we live, our culture, our identity, our gender, whether we have disabilities, our age, and so forth. So, first of all, looking at values. Now, values I look at, you know, and excuse the term, but you know, how Muslim are we? When I talk to people about going to a halal economy conference, someone once described it to me as, oh, are you part of the God squad? And I laughed, because partly I was embarrassed, because it's the perception we're giving to people that we kind of go there, we meet, we're religious, we're with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's cause, you lot are not. And actually, it's about how embracing and how wide do we make this definition as a Muslim, and so forth, and how many people do we bring in and how many people do we exclude out. But also it's those other things, because you know, I see, for example, halal businesses opening up all over, Islamic finance advisory services, you know, numerous seminars and conferences being held all over the world about the Islamic or the halal economy. However, rarely do we talk about things like workers' rights in there. Are we paying people fairly? Are we buying products that are in contravention with our hukukul ibad principles, i.e. our responsibility to humanity, to the environment, to animals, to plants, to nature? So on one side we may tick the box, and on the other side we may actually be contravening what some of the broader principles and the values of the Islamic and the halal economy are about. Then you look at, you know, what opportunities could exist in that space. Well, actually, I think that as a Muslim community globally, a lot of us are very poorly and we're very sick at the moment if you look at us as a community. And I'm not talking about physical health only, I'm talking about our spiritual health. We have lost our identity in many ways, our Islamic identity, our Muslim identity, and what we stand for. So as Muslims, we are talking a lot about the labels, but we're not exploring deeper about the substance. And there is big opportunities in that, everything from giving people support services, health services, counselling, even in terms of preventative, because I think one of the things about Islam is that and the halal economy captures some of it, but actually not fully, is that we're quite reactive as an ummah. We're dependent on others. If you look at the previous presentations that were held, you know, they talked about how, for example, most of the global food chain and supply is actually with people who do not believe in the same values as us. So we have literally given all our power, all our economic power, and the control of what we eat, what we live in, what we hear, the music even that people are hearing, is totally in somebody else's control, and we are recipients rather than donors. So there's opportunities there. In terms of health and well-being, you know, it's really sad that so many people in the world are starving at this moment in time. And on the other side, there's so many people who are obese. And some of this obesity, people will say, oh, well, we're eating too much. But actually, some of it is the fact that we're eating the wrong foods that are injected with steroids and harmful chemicals, which are causing people to become sick. But actually, it's not to do with the fact that they're overeating, but more they're overeating the wrong types of food, the foods that have no nutritional value. And this has been promoted and is being championed. People get so excited. They say, oh, in our country, we're now going to have a McDonald's and we're going to have a KFC. And I said to them, I really feel sorry for you because it's made sickness in our country. Now it's going to be transferred to you. Then you look at the choices people are making, and there's opportunities here, first to change the narrative, and then secondly to create solutions for that narrative. You know, for example, we talk about modest fashion, we talk about products that are going to make us much more consumers that can fulfill our Muslim needs. But how many of us are asking, who made those products? Was it made from child labour? Was it made from women who were exploited? Are they given enough of a salary to feed their families? And until we start asking those questions, changes will not be made. And we have to look at the Islamic economy as an economy that wasn't based on fulfilling greed and having the latest product, but actually an economy which was about social and economic justice. You pay people fairly for the work they do. You actually pay the worker before the sweat on their back is dried. How many times have people worked for Muslim organisations and they're waiting 6 months down the line for their invoice to be paid and they've got a family to feed? So until we look at Muslim lifestyle and the Islamic economy and lead by example, put key performance indicators in there to say that, do you know what we're going to do? We are going to put a criteria down that our invoices are going to be paid in X amount of time. We are going to make sure that instead of exploiting people first and give charity afterwards, the Prophet ﷺ said, better than insulting someone and harming them first and then asking for an apology afterwards. That charity should not be our apology. What we should have as a lifestyle is to promote and help people grow and then give them the means so that they can actually give back in their own way. So you give them their dignity rather than strip them of their dignity in one side by paying them poorly and then give them charity with the other hand. It does not work. It has to be an integrated system. Then looking at housing and urban development, you know, you see that one of the things that's happening all over the world is the development of smart cities, which are about, oh, we're going to have enhanced security, technology, high-rise buildings, and so forth. Actually, in Islam, again, everything is integrated and interrelated. It's interconnected. So those high-rise buildings, for example, were developing very shiny, big towers. Birds couldn't see that these are buildings. They were hitting, and the amount of birds that have died in the world, and bees and insects, by hitting into these buildings. So now, you look at it that, you know, yes, they're ego projects, or we've got one of the biggest smart cities, or we've got this. But the poor people in those countries have been, the poor people in those countries and those cities have been displaced. There's a massive opportunity to do things differently. When you look at fashion and work, how many of us can say that there's ethical brands out there, or food brands, or nutritional security brands? Where food is concerned, I think Malaysia is taking quite a lead in some of the Southeast Asian countries, but actually more needs to be done because we are slow poisoning our populations. And somebody else isn't doing it, we're doing it. And until we look at this as both an urgent need, but also a massive opportunity, you know, there is need there and there is the market there. What we have to do is to provide the solutions and create those opportunities. And the trade and I mean, I mentioned finance there. Finance, do you know, I look at Islamic finance and I applaud them that they're trying to do something. But actually, I feel like all they've done is we've put a sticky plaster on a place where we actually need an operation, or we need something quite substantial. We've tried to make Islamic finance fulfill and match the conventional when actually it lacks the substance of economic justice and the Islamic principles altogether. Really, the Islamic finance sector should have been a conduit for economic and social justice. So we have micro-entrepreneurs being supported, SMEs being supported, and so people can go through a funnel and end up at the other side growing. and growing them in an ethical and fair way. So not just saying, oh, well, you're the son of so-and-so, you're the daughter of so-and-so, so I'm going to open these doors for you, but saying that somebody who in the poorest part of the world can actually get the necessary support they need in order to set up their businesses, to have economic independence, to be able to feed their families, have a good roof over their head, to be able to take their children for an ice cream if they want to do so, not thinking, well, I've actually got £10 left or this amount of rupees left, and if I do that, then I won't be able to pay for medication. So there's got to be a much stronger commitment to the wider values, rather than putting everything in silo and say, well, that's so-and-so's responsibility, and actually displacing our own accountability and responsibility onto somebody else. So where does these opportunities come? Well, first of all, these opportunities have to be cross-cutting. So, for example, if you give people better housing, it will have an impact on their health. If you give them an education that they can actually transfer into economic and social prosperity, it can make a difference. And we must stop being sheep going for the slaughter in a factory farm. What we have to do is to become thinkers, reflectors. Where are we going? And how are we, as leaders in our respective organizations, influencing in a positive or a negative way? And you know, the good thing about Islam and the Islamic economy is that it's a faith and it's a way of life which is about reflection and continually learning. We learn, we make a mistake, we learn from one another. And actually looking at developing, so rather than being reactive and saying, oh, well, so-and-so's got 10 KFCs, so we're going to have 50 KFCs in our country, we start thinking, okay, what are the beneficial things to society and to the world, not just to Muslims? Because if you look at the example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was Rahmatul Alameen, not Rahmatul Muslimin, not Rahmatul Sunni Muslim or Shia Muslim or this country or that. He taught us that we have to think about everybody, and whilst we're thinking about everybody, our own needs are being met in that process. You know, there's so many services that currently are not providing any type of support to women or young people or people from different countries. And as a Muslim community, we need to make sure that we look at the broader Islamic values, but then start localizing and saying, but are these issues relevant in London as they are in Malaysia? Are they relevant in Dubai as they are in Sudan? So we start finding solutions that work for the local people. And the solutions, every solution must take into account what are the local needs. What are the local needs of the local people? So we build not just big towers, but people and the local context of the environment, the foliage, the natural history of that place. So when you're making something, you're making it with people rather than against people. So poor people are not displaced, but they're bought in, and you give them the mechanism so that they can benefit in that economic and social prosperity. This halal lifestyle gives opportunities for ethical enterprise development, for industry, and the growth of new industries. I mean, look at COVID-19. How many of us can say that our countries were resilient? I don't know any country that's resilient in terms of the products that were needed, the health, the machinery, the hospitals. It hit us, absolutely hit us, and it disproportionately affected the Muslim countries, because we are less likely to be producing things and more likely to be buying things from others. And we do not have necessarily the unity that we should have. And I think this is where there has to be something where there's government level policy and investment which translates on a grassroots level and helps people on a grassroots level. And the thing is that, you know, one of the important entities that we have to bring along with us in this is actually the education sector. The education sector we have to drag them at times. And they need to be proactive and the enablers of change rather than actually saying, oh, well, this method, you know, this hasn't worked in this and they're still doing some of the same courses that in 5 years or 10 years' time we will no longer need. And there's areas where there's global skills shortages for future industries. Like at this moment in time, I'm working on a project with the United Nations Foundation, which is creating 25 million electric vehicle installers, mechanics and so forth, 15 million health and well-being workers. We're working on big targets for the future, but actually I would love to be doing that with the OIC. And it's recognizing that we need to be the solution of the future rather than having education that just sticks on as a certificate on the wall and we can't take actually much benefit from it. And then we need to look at, for example, is our populations healthy? Do they have well-being? Do we make them feel good? We are constantly bombarded with information that makes us feel depressed and hopeless. But what are we doing about it? How are we changing that narrative? And then looking at, for example, the healthy earth, you know, how are we making and contributing to the earth and all that lives on it? And the thing is that, you know, you don't have to start really big. It can be as small as feeding the plants. It could be as small as putting seeds outside for birds. You know, it's about doing things in your own way and starting on a manageable level as an individual, as a family, and changing your ways to think that, you know, this earth is made beautiful because of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put on it. I just want you to think for a moment, if we removed all the trees from the earth, all the flowers, all the beautiful plants that we see, the animals, we removed every bit of greenery and the beauty that Allah has given us and just replaced it with concrete. And our food, you know, what we buy in the stores, actually, most of what we would eat would be horrible and our life would be really bland and depressing. But the thing is that's when you are not an ethical consumer and you're not driving your values that this earth is made beautiful by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put on it, then our lifestyle, that's what we're creating for ourselves and our future generations. And by doing this, by having a halal lifestyle, you hit all 17 of the SDGs, and actually there's 6 SDGs extra, which are the Islamic SDGs that are not covered in the 17 SDGs. The 17 SDGs in terms of poverty alleviation, in terms of gender equality, education, zero hunger, sustainable communities and so forth, you can do all of that by just living a halal lifestyle in a fair way and rather than just the labels but the substance. In order for the halal lifestyle to work, it really has to be designed from root rather than an add-on. So somebody thinks, oh, well, Malaysia's doing really well on halal lifestyle. I'll offer that next year. I'll create a little department in a small division of the government rather than saying it has to be a cross-cutting value and theme.
Sister, could you summarize?
Yep, I'm finishing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So anything that we do has to be inclusive rather than exclusive. And it has to make sure it covers both men and women and some of the poorest people in society. And we have to have a fearless ambition for the halal economy and build into it environmental and social responsibility. And we must not forget the people who are the poorest people, because they are the ones who will have the greatest voice with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the injustices that we may be doing directly or indirectly. And there's a great opportunity for partnership working and collaboration globally, not just with OIC but non-OIC countries. And we must remember that the halal lifestyle is about the longer term rather than short, quick solutions which just benefit the few at the expense of the many. And these are some of the projects I'm involved in. You're most welcome to find me, talk to me about them around sustainable cities, around a halal marketplace, which is for ethical products. and education, which covers the widest SDGs and social responsibility from primary school up to postgraduate level. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you for lecture, for the long class. We are your student. We are in the last, not least, speakers, Dr. Amina Zibgatullah from Hiyat University, I think Karachi University, like this, Pakistan. Dr. Amina is an intelligent and pragmatic and enthusiastic academic consultant, corporate trainer and researcher, whose career has encompassed a role in higher education. As an education professional, she has extensive teaching, training, consulting, and research experience, including data collection, critical analysis, evaluation, and concluding. Her expertise lies in the area of adult learning and development, consultancy, evaluation, and instructional design. As a marketing professional, she has required 9 years of unique experience of working in diverse and challenging environments. She's talking about halal food consumption. We are ready to listen to you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. All right, so myself, Dr. Amina, and I have been associated with Karachi Institute of Economics and Technology, Hiyat University, Pakistan. I'm PhD in marketing. Today I would like to discuss my research that is on halal food consumption. This is a brief introduction about myself that has already been discussed by the moderator. Okay, so the outline that I'll be discussing briefly with you. First, we'll be talking about the introduction of the halal foods. Second, that is the review of literature, as it's a research-based article. Experimental research has been conducted. Then methodology that have been adopted to conduct this study. Further, the results and discussions. Lastly, the conclusion. Okay, so first I would like to introduce what do we mean by the halal food. Of course, we all have a thorough idea about it. So the term halal, that basically means permitted, legitimate. And for a Muslim community, halal food and its consumption pattern have become significant. That has been already been studied by various authors. And they also suggest a strong correlation between perceived behavioral control subjective norms with the halal food consumptions. As to conduct this study, we have taken certain variables. Further, this study incorporates 3 TPB elements. TPB is basically the theory of planned behavior that has been used to conduct the research. And what are those 3 elements? That is your subjective norm, attitude, perceived behavioral control, and one aspect of religiosity. It has been reviewed by the author that religious perception is an essential fact that influences the consumption. And this study also contributes to the literature by focusing on the relationship between religiosity, physical well-being, and identifying the mediation by halal food consumption that impacts your physical well-being. The hypotheses that have been derived from the theory of planned behavior. The first is about religiosity is positively related to behavioral intention to buy halal foods. Second hypothesis that has been derived is about consumer attitude is positively related to behavioral intention to buy halal food, subjective norms. that is significantly related to behavioral intention. Further, perceived behavioral control is also positively related to this. Then halal food is positively related to physical well-being. Another is about halal food has been taken as a mediator variable that mediates the relationship between religiosity and physical well-being. Second, it mediates the relationship between attitude and physical well-being. And third, it mediates the relationship between subjective norms and physical well-being. And lastly, it mediates the relationship between perceived behavioral control and physical well-being. So these were the hypotheses that have been tested, and the results have been derived. Okay, this is when we talk about the framework that we have used, the conceptual framework to conduct the methodology. So this study explains how people desire to perform their buying behavior that determines their perception. Further, it has been reported by this author that a strong relationship exists of perceived behavioral intention and subjective norms towards the halal food consumption. So this was the framework that has been derived from the theory of planned behavior. These were the independent variable on your left side, that is your religiosity, attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control. And they are actually influencing the physical well-being, and in between we have a mediator, that is your behavioral intention to buy halal food. So data has been collected through the survey, and the respondents were in totality 315 respondents, Pakistani Muslims and non-Muslim respondents currently living in Pakistan, the USA, Canada, and Australia, Germany during the winter of 2019 and 2020. This study applied the model of PLS-SAM that has been used to conduct the, or you can say to derive the results. So certain tables are there in this study. So the first is about, the table 1 represents the demographic information. Of course, once we have come up with the profile of the respondents, we have to see the demographics, that how, what's the percentage of the males and females, their age, occupation, etc., gender, marital status, and occupation. Further, the respondents are largely female, that is 63.8%, with the overall dominance of private sector employees, and the non-married respondents were 64.4%. Further, the respondents with the highest education level hold a master's degree, and regarding the age, the respondents are mainly in the 18 to 25 category. So this was the demographic profile of the respondents that has been derived from the questionnaires or through the survey. Further, the convergent validity, reliability, and validity was checked. So these were the results. So this table 2 basically manifests the composite reliability and exceeded the recommended value of 0.7. Again, it's all about the research that has been conducted. The results show that the average variance extracted is higher than the recommended value of 0.5. And overall, these results provide adequate support for the soundness of your scale structures. Further, the third table is about the AVE value for each of the latent construct, and that is more than 0.5, resulting in good convergent validity. This was the third table, that is about your discriminant validity that has to be checked. Further, in fourth table, basically we come up with the direct hypothesis. We have to see the relationships of the hypothesis that has been derived from the literature, from the theory as well. So hypothesis 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 were accepted as the p-value was was less than 0.05. Further, PLS-SAM was applied to examine the mediation. So this was the structure model assessment that has been done. Another table that basically shows the results of mediation analysis. 2 mediating effects were accepted as their significant value were less than 0.05. Further, halal food consumption mediates the relationship. The remaining 2 were insignificant. Further, what we have seen, that this author has suggested that PLS can give more accurate estimates of mediating effects by accounting for the error that actually attenuates the estimated relationships and improves the validation of theories. So this was the PLS-SAM model that has been used. And the values have been derived, through which we are coming to know that what's the significant and the insignificant variables were. Further, another table revealed the value of R square, that is your regression analysis. And it stipulates placing all control constructed injunctions that demonstrate a propensity for influencing and variation on the dependent variable. So this was the table basically, in which we are determining or coming up with the value of your R square. Another table that is about your F2 that shows the effect size of the square. And according to this author, the value of F2 reflects strong when the value of square 0.35 and moderate is about 0.15. The value of 0.02 reflects it's small. And in this study, the value of F square for variables such as religiosity, attitude, perceived behavioral control, and subjective norm is little. And F square for variables like behavioral intention of buying foods, buying halal foods, and religiosity are strong. So this was the table number 7, in which we are coming up with the values of F squared and effect size. So this study basically contributes to the literature by focusing on the relationship between religiosity and physical well-being, as we have extended this theory of planned behavior, as well as identifying the mediating halal food consumption that impacts your physical well-being. And we can conclude that religiosity, attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control, they have a significant and positive impact on the behavioral intention to buy halal foods. And this shows that religiosity has a significant influence on shaping your consumer attitude, as attitude is all about your lifestyles and behavior towards buying your halal foods. So this study basically found that halal food consumption mediated the relationship between your religiosity and physical well-being. And it also confirmed that the intention to buy halal foods mediated the relationship between subjective norms that has been, the subjective norms that basically are coming from the societal pressure, and the physical well-being. And this finding is consistent with the previous studies that has already been conducted on the halal foods, in which the researchers indicated that healthy food can support physical well-being. Limitations that have been, we have come across for this study, that this study is conducted in the food sector only, considered less informative than other halal businesses all across the globe. Further, the respondents were consumers of halal food, as we have discussed in the earlier slides. It would be interesting to acquire data from the other stakeholders, such as your halal foods manufacturers, marketeers, and retailers. Further, future studies could also add more demographic characteristics to see halal food consumption's effect on consumer behavioral intention. So these are my official details.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much. There's different studies and maybe research. We have no more time, but I give a chance to questions. Only three questions enough, or For each speaker, one question. Any questions from audience? Yes. The question is one. Shortly introduce yourself and say.
Yeah, my name is Hilmul. I'm from the Islamic Development Bank. Thank you very much for the very outstanding presentations. My question is addressed to Dr. Amina. A very simple question and very straightforward. How do you measure the religiosity? That's it. I was just wondering, how do you measure? Because one of your variables was religiosity, right? Yes. How do you measure it? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, can you please repeat the question? Which validity you are talking about?
Not the validity, the variables, one of the parameters in your research.
Yeah,
right,
which construct?
The level of religiosity, right? Am I right?
Religiosity.
Yes.
Yes.
How did you do that? How did you assess that?
Definitely, we have taken this construct from the previous studies. We have adopted the questionnaire, but according to the profile of the respondents, or you can see according to the nature of the study, we have taken the items to measure this religiosity. Then afterwards, we have assessed this construct through you can say, your PLSM, and we have also checked its validity and reliability. And when the values, like your p-value and the Cronbach alpha and etc., they have shown greater, according to the, like for example, Cronbach alpha says greater than 0.7, then your p-value says it must be greater than 0.5, and so on and so forth. So when these parameters, they were showing these values, then definitely we have come up with the validity of this construct of religiosity. And before that, we have taken the, we have actually interviewed the respondents, you can say Muslims and non-Muslims, those who were living in Pakistan. You can say, and of course we have the diversity of population, and you can, a greater percentage of, you can say Muslims, and then we have another percentage of non-Muslims. Then the survey has been taken from all of these respondents. After that, we have proceeded with the assessments.
Thank you. Any more questions? No? I mean, it means no question. I have to conclude. Before concluding, I want to thank to our session sponsor, Moderniza. This company is born in Istanbul. They have customers in 140 countries. They offer contents in 6 languages: Turkish, Arabic, English, French, German, and Bahasa. I don't know which Bahasa. They speak their customers' language. They recognize their needs, customer needs, and they know their customers' references. Each month, there is reach 30 million visitors from all over the world via their application and desktop platforms. They sell our 1,000 plus brands and 100,000 products, and shipping thousands of packages a day to 5 continents. This is our company, Moderniza. Thanks for the sponsorship. Now, yes.
Okay, thank you. So we thank all our speakers for their valuable speeches. Now it's plaque ceremony. So first, I would like to invite His Excellency, is already on the scene, to give to the speakers their plaques. First, Her Excellency, Mrs. Latifa El Boabdellawi, the Director General of ICDT. So, Her Excellency, please. So thank you very much for being with us today on World Halal Summit stage. You honor our summit. Thank you. Yes, Thank you. So please stay with us on the stage for the family photo. Mr. Asad Sajjad, the CEO of Halal Development Council from Pakistan. Thank you for being with us today on World Halal Summit stage. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Asad Sajjad. Now, Associate Professor Dr. Aydoğan Soygudan from Erciyes University from Kayseri. Thank you for being with us today on World Halal Summit stage and for your kindly contribution. Thank you, Mr. Sajjad. Thank you. And now, Mr. Datuk Serimot Rizal, the Group Executive Chairman of Eurojasmine Holding from Malaysia. You honor us today on World Halal Summit stage. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Datuk. Now, I would like to call Ms. Saida Ahmed, the founder of Global Halal Trade and Investment, and Halal Peace from UK. We thank her for her kindly contribution and for honoring us today on World Halal Summit stage. Thank you. Dr. Amina Sibgatullah from Kuwait University from Pakistan. Thank you, Dr. Amina. So we'll give a final plaque to His Excellency Mr. Ihsanovic. Thank you, Dr. Amina. Yes, one more plaque for His Excellency Mr. Ihsanovic for his moderation. Mrs. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, for moderating this session. Thank you. And the family photo now, please. As the family photo with your plaques, please take your place on the stage here. Thanks to all our speakers. I remind that the session was on halal halal lifestyle from different perspectives. Thank you. So now, dear participants, without wasting any time, we'll continue directly with the second session, or today's second session, which will be on halal in rapid changing world. So I will like to maintain His Excellency Mr. Ihsanovic on the stage. He will also moderate. No, His Excellency Mr. Ihsanovic. Yeah. Thank you for your participation. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So the following speakers are kindly requested to prepare while we organize the scene. Yeah. Yes, I would like to invite on the stage now Ms. Amna Shari, the group CEO and founder of Serunai Commerce, Sedin Bat from Malaysia. Ms. Amna Shari, okay, welcome. Mr. Muhammad Jinnah, the chairman of United World Halal Development from Singapore. Mr. Muhammad Jinnah. Okay. Thank you. Assistant Professor Dr. Aldin Duganic from Center for Halal Quality Certification from Croatia. Mr. Duganic. Mr. Duganic put down. Mr. Duganic never. Now we'll start now the session. Mr. Duganic is with us. You are kindly invited to join us on the stage. Mr. Fatih Ali. Mr. Fatih Ali is the co-founder and CEO of Collab Din and Kitchok from Singapore. He is kindly requested to join us on the stage. And finally, Aina Sergeyeva, Press Secretary of Russia of Islamic World Kazan Summit 2022. Welcome, Ms. Aina. So once again, I'd like to welcome all our speakers. We are now starting a session 6. No, a section 7. This section, Halal in Rapid Changing World. Mr. Aldin. Yes. So I think Mr. Aldin will join us soon. So Your Excellency, we can start our session.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome again. It's my normal session. I will try to be moderator. Normally I have 5 speakers, but one of them, she could not came. 6, sorry. Now we have 5. Aldin, welcome. Dobra pajalat. You have 15 minutes, but we will tolerate each other. If you need questions, be short. If you don't want more questions, you can extend 1 minute. Not more than 1 minute. Help me, I will help you. Distinguished speakers and audience and our participants, this session is again about different approach on halal issues. For let's say we have first speaker is Ms. Amna Shari. She's Group CEO and founder, Permanent Commerce and in Malaysia, from Malaysia. She's as a CEO and founder of Servonai Commerce, etc., etc. She is a reputable advisor to and strategy to international companies in assisting the companies to establish themselves in Malaysia. She has also contributed her view in many governments' transformation program. Amna has held several high committee posts for a few international business chambers, and she has been elected as the chairman of SME committee in advocating policies and program to the government. She holds master's degree in international relations from Claremont University, California, USA, and BA degree in management and political science. Amna has been featured in numerous conferences and international media on her views and perspectives on female entrepreneurship, business automation, FDI, public policy and advocacy, SME development, and of late her achievement in developing the world's first digital halal ecosystem. Welcome, sister. Stage is yours.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Secretary General SMIC, panel speakers, ladies and gentlemen, students. Thank you so much for inviting me today to your beautiful country. Assalamualaikum, marhaba. Good morning, selamat pagi in my language. And you have amazing, amazing city. I just been to Hagia Sophia. I had my Zuhur there the first day. It is amazing, and it's really touched the heart. And I'm looking forward to go to your Topkapi Palace soon. Right. So today, the topic will be, oh, they didn't say anything. Is this my slide?
There's a topic, no problem.
Yeah, there is my slide. Can someone, there you go. That's me, no big deal. Okay. No big deal. Today, I was asked to talk about digital halal ecosystem and the system that I use to help the certification bodies. So of course, we are a technology company, but we have also blockchain, IoT, and everything, but I will be focusing purely on how we support the certification bodies around the world. Okay. Right. I think this is not a new news. As you know, the global halal economy is 3.5 trillion in the world, but the interesting part, halal has become hip. Everybody wants to be in halal, which is amazing. And unfortunately, what happened? 85% of the world producer of halal are non-Muslim themselves. May I have my slide again, please? Right. One moment. Dilek is helping me. Lovely, Dilek. Right. There you go. Next. Yeah, development of digital tools in managing halal certification. Next, please. Okay, I just do this. Next. It doesn't go. Now, yes. So if you look at it, as I said, halal has become hip and everybody wants to go into halal. So 85% of the world producers of halal are non-Muslims. Fortunately or unfortunately, for me, I look at it positively. People like Nestle has the biggest factory of halal in Malaysia and also employ more than 10,000 employees, and the biggest factory is located in Malaysia for halal. And same with Mondelez and many more. And of course, by 2050, 1/3 of the global population will be Muslim. This is amazing. So we have young population, the Muslims are more educated, we have more money, and we know how to use digital. We use apps, we use Facebook, we use Twitter, and so on and so forth. So the world is changing toward digital. So we in halal, we must move towards that. So today, I don't need to repeat again, for the last 3 days, all speakers talk about halal food, modest fashion, media, cosmetic, and so on and so forth. You know the figures, it's big. And you got to jump into it now before other people take over. Let's talk about the next stage. Hey. So what happened? When too many people are into halal, there's so many people who are opportunists. That means they want to get into it no matter what. In Japan itself, there's more than 50 certification bodies exist today. Russia suddenly mushrooming with about 50 to 100 certification bodies, nowhere to be found, and suddenly they are there. So, and as a result, there are many, many, many fake halal. A lot of people just put their logo there, and they just say halal. Who cares? Because there's nobody monitor halal. Nobody monitor halal. But I must say, Malaysia has put forward 5 years ago a policy by the police and also by domestic trade ministry. If you have fake halal logo, you'll be fined 5 million ringgit, which is equivalent to 1 million US, or you'll be jailed 1 year. But even then, there's a lot of people doing fake halal. And only 2019, Jokowi in Indonesia has started making sure halal is compulsory by 2024. That is Indonesia. And now Malaysia has been always taking care of its halal since 51 years ago, and Jakarta now, Indonesia, is taking over by the government also the halal by since 2019. People like Pakistan, people like Egypt, and of course many more are realizing the halal economy is big, and the government are now monitoring halal and halal economy in their country. But how do we manage fake halal? Because there are too many people, not only counterfeit product, it's already fake product, but they also do fake halal logo. And this is something that we really need to monitor, and I hope OIC or also SMIC perhaps may want to talk about this as a special subject in the future. I personally work with many police departments around the world, including Interpol and many more, and of course with my government on how to catch people who has fake halal. Right, next. Oh, this is one of, okay, oops. Okay, let's talk about how many certification bodies out there. In short, there are more than 400 certification bodies, certified or non-certified. But so far, 95% of them are non-profit organizations, which is good. That means the Mufti, the Maulana, people who are passionate about halal, they want to do halal for the ummah. So they do the certification of halal. And what's good about these certification bodies, which I love them, because when they do halal, they got money, they build clinics, they build school, they give food to the asnaf, they do many things for the social community. So my project under Serunai is a social enterprise project, which is endorsed by United Nations as ESG project, and also endorsed by Islamic Development Bank as part of the reverse linkage project. And I work with many governments in also to make sure that we implement our technology to the non-profit organization. What is my key job? My key job to digitize the certification body, but at the same time, my key job is to get the authentic data. So we have an app, which I'm going to show you later. It's called Verify Halal. It's now we're connected to more than 12 certification bodies, but it's been looked at by 174 countries. We have more than 3 million SKUs, and they are directly from the certification bodies themselves. So do download it when you have the time. So if you look at it, for example, Malaysia recognized 84 logos from 46 countries. Indonesia recognized more than 40 plus now. And you can see UAE is also changing. Suddenly now, ESMA is now creating their own halal standard, and also they are certifying certification bodies out there in order to bring food into the country. What does that translate? That means halal is money. So when it crosses the border per SKU, the government will start charging for certification on how to do this. Is it good? Is it bad? I leave it to you. But in Indonesia, it is a massive one. They have created more than 200 certification bodies in Indonesia, and in the next 5 years, they're going to be halal. Everything is halal, including importing food. It must be halal. So this is a massive thing. Why? It is because it is generating halal economy, where they're going to create more auditors, more halal executives, and so on and so forth. In my country and Indonesia, my country is Malaysia, you need to have a halal executive the moment you have halal company or halal restaurant or halal factory. Nestle itself in Malaysia has hundreds of halal executives in order to monitor their operation. Yeah? So we just finished with QSR. QSR is a project that we do for KFC. They have over 2,000 ingredients from 150 countries. They have to monitor all these ingredients and so on and so forth. And that is my job as well. So this is interesting. So nonprofit, you got to know this. But then I hope eventually SMIC or OIC will monitor the correct and the better certification bodies before they go haywire. I'm sorry to say that, but that's something that, because there are too many also unregulated, uncertified certification bodies that mushrooming like mad out there. Okay, next. Right, but Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, organizations like Mondelez, Nestle, and so on and so forth, they are so much into halal. They have their own brand, they have many companies, and so on and so forth. But they naturally use, the big corporation use ERP system and custom-made system for their own organization in order to manage halal. They cannot afford to lose halal. For example, in Malaysia, Cadbury, they have a problem with halal, and people doubt Cadbury chocolate, and they lost almost 24 million US and more, if I didn't get it correctly, just for 2 years because they make a boo-boo on the application of halal, and people get jittery that they are not halal. So it's impacted their brand if they are not halal. So for this major corporation, it's very important for them to have halal correct, and they are doing it correctly, which I must congratulate them. But unfortunately, how many percent? 4% of the world MNCs, other MNCs, 96% of the producer of world halal and food are SME. You got to wake up. The 4% are the big giant. Nestle, Mondelez, whatever it is, right? Pfizer, and so on and so forth. But 96% are SME and the small corporations. So this is my job. My job is to help them. Not so much the big guys, but we do help like the KFC and the Pizza Hut as well. Right, we have since then, we have many collaboration with many certification bodies out there, especially Indonesia. We are very proud of that. And just 2 weeks ago, we launched with the Islamic Development Bank, where we are going to digitize pretty much all the halal center in Indonesia. So we want to make sure all the companies using a proper system together with the certifier, they have apps, they have blockchain, and so on and so forth, which is going to help the authentication of data and process and ingredient are properly managed by the corporations. And of course, it's authentic halal at the end of the day, yeah? So this is just a basic thing. Actually, that's pretty much main 9 categories of halal. Halal has emerged in a big way because last time we just talked about food and so on and so forth. Now medical devices are halal. OEM standard, logistic halal, yes, pharmaceutical, slaughterhouse, cosmetic goods, and so on and so forth. There are more and more branches of halal. If I'm not mistaken, SMIC has, I have to congratulate SMIC, who has more than 24 standards, if I'm not mistaken, yes, but anyway, and more system has been developed. But as Dr. Barbara mentioned in the first day, there are more than 24 system or policies or standard out there because each country has its own standard. Until the day, I don't know when, we harmonize halal, that will be a big day. I don't think I live that long, but I think hopefully, inshallah, with Allah's grace, we will see harmonization of halal, so then people will take halal more seriously, especially the regulators like the European Union, about what Dr. Barbara mentioned, where then people take halal as a proper regulation that they can control. Because at the moment, we are not unifying, yeah? So just that, giving you some information. Key challenges, of course, the system is needed because if you, by the way, 95% of all the certification bodies are all doing it manually. If you have to apply halal, you do it manually. And this is, especially with the pandemic, of course, you cannot go out. So everything has to go through digital. But anyway, these are some of the risks. You can have the slide in the future. Okay. You cannot really monitor things. Halal committee and so on and so forth, miscommunication, because the processes is very complex in halal. Malaysia especially, Malaysia has more complex system. And of course, Indonesia and even in Singapore are getting more complex, the processes, yeah? People get too busy, you make mistake, and so on and so forth. So, yes, in conclusion, yes, halal is getting big, everybody wants that, but digital solution, in my opinion, need to be there in order to assist the certification body. By the way, the certification body that we assist, the system is free. That's why it's called social enterprise. So we give free the system to the certification body. So talk to us if you're serious about servicing your client and also to migrate from manual to digital. Yeah? So this is a system. We give the certification body a system, and of course the company, we have another called VH Smart, and of course we have a blockchain, and of course the Hadith, which is the auditor app, and so on and so forth, and we pair it together. So the certification body will have clear eye-but view of what the processes and the application that have been submitted or been injected into the VH Smart by the company. And the data from the certification is injected into the app. This is called Verify Halal app, is in 174 countries. And please look at it, there are more than 3 million SKUs in the system. It's free, so you can search for salt, anchovies, anything from halal ingredient to the halal ready product itself. So in fact, we received many awards for this project, again, because it meant to help the public. They move. Conclusion. I think conclusion, you know. It's about time for us to adopt technology. This is the free public app, as I mentioned. So you can tag the product. Malaysia itself has more than 1 million over SKU. We have 14,000 halal corporation, more than 40,000 restaurants. Indonesia have more than 50,000 companies, which is amazing. And please look at it because it is very comprehensive. It's free. It's for the public and it's for the ummah. So thank you very much. I think I have 12 minutes or 15, just right. So if you have questions for me, please see me after the do. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sister. Thank you, using time very professionally, Sister Amna. Now we will move to the next speaker, our brother, Mohammed Jinnah, founding chairman of the United Halal, World Halal Development in Singapore. Is a pioneer in the evolution of alternative business strategies along the halal, a global perspective of halal and hygiene lines and major instruments in Halal, World Halal Day initiative. Mr. Jinnah has started the noble initiative, the World Halal Day, which is observed on November 1st every year to bring Muslims and non-Muslims to understand the common value of halal, way of life to mankind. It is an international event with more than 60 countries participations from around the world, which includes government officials, leaders, ministers, ministries, very important VIPs, business people, etc. Thank you, Mr. Jinnah. He will talk about halal awareness in the OIC and non-OIC countries. Welcome, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Very good morning, dear brothers and sisters, respected Mr. Hassan Ovid. And I would like to express my sincere thanks, gratitude to the organizer. It's a great pleasure to be here today to deliver the speech about OIC country and non-OIC country, the behavioral changes of the consumer. I'm from Singapore, representing United World Halal Development. We do more research on the OIC country and non-OIC country. Basically, for the past 2 days, we have been talking about schemes, standards, how reaction with the non-Muslim countries. Where I'm living is a non-Muslim country, Singapore. It's about 5.5 million population. The regulatory is fully functional with a very professional way. There are 4 countries, I can say 5 countries in OIC, which has a proper standard regulations. So let's start with the regulation first. There are two things we need to connect the dots. The first dot is regulatory. Who is the regulatory? The regulatory always come from the government sectors, the decision makers, the politicians, the scientists behind, the entrepreneurs. These are the chain. In Muslim country, let me talk about the Muslim country first, then we will go back to the non-Muslim country, OIC. In OIC country, the behavioral changes is completely different than non-Muslim country. Why? Either one person as a decision maker, they made a decision, and the rest of the standards will be following apart. The sad thing, we have been talking about halal and halal development for the past 20 years in international conference. OIC country, still they are not into the standard to adapt, to engage with the right industry bodies. Example, you should have an institute where this institute to ensure the food safety and food security control. Majority of the OIC countries, there is no proper food testing laboratory, very sad. A non-Muslim country, they have a equipped technology with proper food testing laboratories. Islam always go with the two things, science and Sharia. Sharia always will be in the top because Sharia is a science. And most of the muftis and ulamas in the OIC countries, they are not into the science. They are more into the books. How to prove the science and ulama? Because you need a laboratory. The technology has improved. The new things has been into the place now. Singapore has introduced lab meat. I think majority of you know. Singapore is the first country who introduced the lab meat, synthetic meat. What is our intake for the Muslim? The next 5 to 10 years, the most of 60% meat, it's going to become from lab-grown meat, where we are now. We do not have laboratories in the Muslim countries. I give a very special attention to the pandemic time. For the past 2 years in Singapore, I'm talking about very subjective and very scientific approach what we did. In Singapore, for the past 2 years, pandemic time, majority of the non-Muslim looking for halal certified product. I'm not saying halal product, halal certified product. That means somebody has endorsed, somebody has verified, somebody has audited, and somebody has put their logo to ensure this product is halal. 80% Singapore, the non-Muslim, Chinese. And they prefer to take halal with one reason. Why? Food safety. And Singapore has, let me show in the second slide. So halal is become a major concern in the public mind today in pandemic. And I am myself, we do certification from India, Ayurveda product. I think majority of you know what is Ayurveda. It's a 2000 years old medical system. And we have a fourth system in India, Unani, Ayurveda, and Siddha. Siddha is about 5,000 years old medical system, still alive. And TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine. These four playing a major part during the COVID time in Singapore. Those people who used to go for fast food restaurants, now they change, the behavioral change to the consumer, they're looking for traditional food. Especially ginger, garlic, Ayurveda product has been increasing from 20 to 40%, especially from India. I'll give you another example. We certified 25 Ayurveda company, the pharma company in India, to take halal certification during pandemic time because there is a huge demand in Europe, Asian countries. They take the mileage. Most of the time, the Ayurveda product, Siddha product, Unani product, it works with our system because it's a matrix. We are changing the matrix of the world. People has to work close, one-to-one. Now we are social distancing. You are disturbing the matrix. When you disturbing the matrix, the universe also get disturbed. Then the climate has become a change. So these are the effects what we are seeing in a practical way. Singapore, as a non-Muslim country, is not under OIC. Their consumer is about 5 to 5.5 million. They're consuming 500 to 700 million worth of halal certified product every year. And it's increasing 20% to 25%, moving into the right direction. Second, during the recent time, we notify a lot of Indian cosmetics entering to the Singapore market. Singapore is not just one market because it's play a major role for hub in Asia Pacific. From Singapore, it's moving to Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and again, there is an interesting trade is happening from South Korea, Japan. Very interesting. So people are talking about halal market in Middle East. It's a completely wrong assumption because the Muslim countries' population is not fully educated about what is halal certified product till now, till date. And we have been talking about centuries, 2 decades. We are talking about halal standards, halal schemes, halal certification bodies. We are only become a consumer. We don't produce anything as of now. The reason, it's connected with your technology, it's connected with your framework, it's connected with your government policy. So the policy is not created into the majority of 57 countries, except 5 to 6 countries. The rest of them, there is no even proper laboratory to verify the food adulterations. Especially in Africa country, majority of the Muslim country, they do not have a food testing laboratory. Recently, we certified halal-friendly cruise in Singapore. This is another interesting topic. Singapore is being a hub in cruise industry for the decades, but during the pandemic, the government has changed the policy, say cruise nowhere. It's not like cruise from Singapore going to Indonesia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. Now, the Singapore government has taken initiative, say cruise nowhere. It means the cruise ship will start from Singapore, going to the international water, coming back to the Singapore land again. There is no immigration is required because it encourages the citizen to travel, in which we have got opportunity to certify world first halal-friendly cruise ship. So, OIC standard has been developed in many nations. The non-Muslim country is practicing, but Muslim country is not ready to implement the system. There are many factors will be getting involved. The scientists, the framework, the policy maker, the decision maker, and the politicians, they need to connect in a very well manner. But this is not, the supply chain is not connected very well. Let me go back to the actual scenario here. So the recommendation is the government OIC country should start think about how to educate to the public first. There is no system in schools, in madrasas, or any books in general, not only for Quran and Sunnah teaching, on general food safety standards. In non-OIC country, where I'm living in Singapore, the 2 second standard boys can educate how to eat, the table behavior. It's in a subject. And halal is in a subject. And people feeling halal is not a religious component, halal is a racial harmony. So the Chinese, the Malay, the Indian will sit together, but they know what is recommended for them to eat when the Muslim will be in your same table. In Singapore, we can find very unique habit. If the Chinese inviting you as a dinner or lunch in the restaurant, they don't eat pork in front of you. It's being as a culture. They respect you very well. The similar way, when the Malay or the Indian Muslims inviting the Hindu friends, they don't eat beef in the front of Hindu people. It's a respect. So this behavioral change, the table manners it's not been implemented in OIC country. So we need to see what is the lacking into the OIC country and why the non-OIC country adopting halal in an aggressive way, because there is an economical benefit to the country. And the people are getting educated, people get trained, and a lot of auditors in those countries, non-Muslim country, fully educated, and professionals. They know what are the science, the laboratories. We know, we have been talking this as a hot topic. There is a country which is called Palestine, and majority of the product is not being available anywhere. Why? We are not supporting the Palestinians. We are not supporting the manufacturers. There are good products available in Palestine. At least what we see, stand with the Palestinian people. Let's do some halal product from Palestine to global market, give them an opportunity to live their life. Thank you very much.
All for Palestine. Palestine. Palestine, our word. Thank you very much. Good message at the end. Now our brother Aldin, welcome. Very known name. Is from Croatia. Is a center of quality. Halal quality certification. Welcome, brother.
Thank you.
He graduated from University of Applied Health Science, Zagreb, and the Department of Sanitary Engineering on topic halal standards and links with other standards from 2011 to 2013, and he did his master's thesis on implementation of halal standards. etc. has a long name. Mr. Brother Aldin was involved in the process of establishing a systematic way of halal certification in the Republic of Croatia since 2007. And he became certified auditor for halal quality, and in 2009, the consultant for halal quality. Since 2009, he is employed at the Center for Halal Quality Certification on the job CEO, trainer, and auditor of the center. Mr. Dogondic Aldino, we say Aldin, sorry. We love you with your first name. Very easy for us. Is under the author of many papers in the area of halal, halal markets, halal tourism, halal, and halal certification, which is he had presented at the national and international conferences. He's a member of Croatian Standards Institute, Technical Committee Agriculture and Food Products Management System for Food Safety, and he was a member of SENBT working group on halal. It was his story. Also, Brother Aldin is lead editor for ISO 9001 and was involved in different and also he included in the 2017-18 edition to Islamica 500 global leaders of the Islamic economy. He was the member of the governance panel of World Halal Tourism Awards 2016 and president of Halal World Day in Croatia Organization Committee. He obtained his PhD title from International University of Novi Pazar in October 2018 on the topic halal industry contribution and strengthening. By your long CV, when you will back to presentation, he is a good man, it means. Shall we continue with your presentation, please?
No problem.
Thank you, welcome.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, and good day to you all. First of all, I'm also joining congratulations for the organizing this magnificent summit for the 7th time and wish you the success. Also, I want to congratulate to Mr. Ihsan. He's re-elected for Secretary General, and we hope and pray that you will succeed in all the missions and goals that you have. And we who are coming from the small countries with the small population of Muslims are very proud what is actually happening and hope that you will listen to our voice, since some things are happening around the world, especially in halal certification, halal standardization, and halal accreditation, which is actually not good for us. So my topic that I want to present today is halal marketing and branding in non-IC countries, the case of country where I'm living, Republic of Croatia, which is the EU member state. Sometimes people actually don't know where is Croatia. It's near Bosnia and Herzegovina. Most of you know where is Bosnia. So when we are speaking about marketing and branding, actually every company which is producing something or having some service want to become a serious and reliable partner and want to develop further to be on the market. We know that halal production, halal market is becoming more and more developed around the world. And there's, of course, a lot of opportunities which we heard already today. And we also heard today about branding halal products in OIC countries. I will speak a little bit what is actually a special challenge to brand and produce product in non-OIC countries. Actually, the first question that we all need to raise is that can we actually use someone's beliefs, in this case religion, in marketing and branding? What is actually the task or the goal? Actually, it's generally accepted to use the ethical rules. Even the ethical rules are not just the Islam. Islam is much more than just the ethics. We all know what is actually marketing. It's to market the products and placing on the market. What is special so about the halal marketing? Actually, we need to follow the source of Islam and principles of halal. I give some examples here. What are these basic principles which we need to take care of when we are marketing our products on the halal market, and which is actually not so complicated. But for the people who don't understand what is really halal and what is really Islam, it is sometimes very complicated to them. Also, what we are witnessing in non-OIC countries especially, that we have naked females for marketing some products, especially in cosmetics. And we can say that it's becoming more and more naked. I don't know where is the board for that. And sometimes, you know, to raise the child in this environment, it's very hard if you want to raise it on the proper way. You know what is actually the brand? The brand is actually some emotion, and the brand are in our heads. And companies are using many, many years and investing a lot of the money to have a good brand that everybody knows what is actually the brand. Halal is certainly brand. It's even more than brand when we are looking at all the characteristics of halal that you also heard for today. What I'm actually also asking myself always when we are looking on some list of the world 100 most valuable brands, I here was looking on Forbes best brand. We see in the top in 100 brands, most valuable brands, there is no any brand from OIC countries. Mr. Jinnah tells some reasons why this is happening, but I think that we have a lot of things to do, especially when we are looking on the golden age of Islam. When we saw the history and what was the achievement of Islam and Muslim people. So what are actually the challenges when we are doing the marketing and branding in non-OIC countries? The first is that Islam as a religion is not recognized in many European countries. Just 4 countries actually recognize Islam as religion, and give the all rights and duties to the Muslims. Lack of single Islamic community in Europe. Islamic communities in Europe are the most of them are organized by nationalities. So you have many countries establish their own Islamic communities, which sometimes, of course, confusing the consumers and is confusing also the government. Because who is the one who is the responsible for Muslims and Islam in these countries? And which fatwa you will follow? Unique, or maybe to say non-unique halal standard. I already told about this issue, because today we are having good standards, but now we are having the situation that many OIC countries implementing that standard as their own standard, as their national standards, and they're asking for accreditation, recognition, registration for every that country, which is, of course, is not good, especially when we come to the financial issues, because it's cost a lot. And you know what the clients are asking us from time to time? How many halal do you have, Aldi? Because every month I'm bringing some accreditation body to check that facilities. Then I told them, you know, halal is actually one. If you are following one Quran, one Sunnah, one Ijma, and etc. The sources of Islam are the same. But today we are having a lot of things which are making actually the barriers. Also, the problem in OIC countries, anyone can establish halal certification body, and we have this issue everywhere. It's about self-declaration of halal, which is actually good, which is showing us that we have done some job, that people are more awareness about halal, and they're asking about halal. But of course, it must be standardized, certified, and others. I have done some research about our clients to see how they are looking on the marketing and branding. When we are speaking about our halal certified products marked with the halal quality logo, we see that 78% is marking their products, 22% are not marking. Possible reasons, I didn't do the research about that, but from our experience we can say that they are presenting their products only on the domestic market and the growing Islamophobia. Because even in the agreement that we are signing with our clients, we have the clause which is talking about that they shall put the logo on their products. They're always asking, not always, but some of them are asking not to do it because they're afraid how domestic market will react on it. So in this way, we have a lot of job to do. Those who are marking, they are constantly labeled 71%, and 29% are only put the logo only for export. Because, you know, we are having situation that some production are only producing halal products for export, because in my country, there's only 63,000 Muslims living, so they think it's not a big market for them. When we ask the second question, have you developed specially tailored new products for the halal market, you see that 50% of them are producing. Have you specially branded halal products? You can see that just 28% of them is branding their halal products. So in 72% we have still work to do, and maybe some agency who is doing the branding can do it together with them. Have you conducted a special halal marketing campaign? Only 70% of them. So this is showing us that there's also a lot of work to do. Have you participated in halal fairs? Only 33% of them are going actually on halal fairs. Unfortunately, in this expo also there is no companies from Croatia, even from Southeast Europe, because they are still not aware of that they need to be on some fairs and that they need to do the marketing and branding of their products. And when we are speaking about are they familiar with the concept of halal marketing, only 39% are actually know what is halal marketing, and in the future, of course, we will do some special education for them. So as some kind of conclusion, we need to do additional labeling with the halal quality logo of certified products. There is a space for developing the special tailored products for the halal market. There is a necessary to conduct a marketing campaign for halal products on domestic and international markets, and that is necessary to participate in halal fairs and to perform additional education on halal marketing. I hope that you have some new information from this survey and some research that I have done. If you're going to have any question for me, I'm ready to answer it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Brother Aldin, for your comprehensive explanation about halal and halal marketing in the Muslim and non-Muslim countries. I hope you will receive some questions. Now we have the next speakers. Last but not least, inshallah, our sister from Tatarstan, Russian Federation, Aina Sergeyevan, Mrs. Press Secretary of Russia, Islamic World Kazan Summit 2022. Aina is graduate from the Kazan Aviation University of Tupolev, Faculty of Law, and second higher education, translator English, from 2014 to 18. She has been working as a press representative of the Russian Airlines, Euroflot. You will fly us for halal issues, inshallah, in Asian region and Turkey. Since 2019, she lives in Kazan and works at the site of International Economic Summit, Russia, Islamic World Kazan Summit. She will talk about halal lifestyle roadmap, Tatar's experience. Yes, sister.
Thank you very much. Is anybody who can help you with?
Someone help you? Wait.
Looks like it doesn't work.
They are helping. Wait. 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 Maybe you can position of mic to your.
Okay, I can start. Assalamu alaikum, dear participants of the World Halal Summit. I'm glad to welcome you here. My name is Aina and I'm from Tatarstan. The Republic of Tatarstan, or simply Tatarstan, is a republic of Russia located in the Eastern Europe, and its capital and largest city is Kazan. So here we go. Thank you. More than 10 years, Tatarstan has been working to bring Russia closer to Islamic countries. In 2019, the government of Tatarstan has approved the roadmap for the development of the halal lifestyle. The roadmap covers such areas as halal tourism, halal production, fashion, finance, IT, and media. The action plan is aimed at increasing the Muslim tourist flow involvement of the residents of Tatarstan and the whole country into the halal lifestyle. The key event in the halal side is the International Economic Summit, Russia Islamic World Kazan Summit. Since 2009, Kazan Summit is a leading platform for deliberation on a matter of cooperation. Summit annually is supported by the Federation Council of the Federal Assembly of the Russia Federation and the Government of the Republic of Tatarstan. Can we up a bit, please? The set of measures is being implemented within the framework of the Russia Islamic World Strategic Vision Group, which since 2014 has been headed by the President of the Republic of Tatarstan, Rustam Minnikhanov, on behalf of the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Also, the International Economic Summit, the Kazan Summit, is a platform for strengthening trade, economic, scientific, technical, social, and cultural ties between the region of Russia and the countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and for promoting the development of Islamic financial institutions in the country. The summit provides a chance to engage in an open dialogue on the business, investment prospects, and commercial trends in Russia and the Islamic world. So let's briefly take a look how the roadmap works in Tatarstan now. What about halal tourism? Certified halal hotels are fully working in Tatarstan especially. What about halal production? The world's first pilot project for the implementation of the SIGPA trace system for halal products. The fashion. The cultural part of the Kazan Summit program includes a modest fashion show annually. Kazan Summit helps to organize business program, discussion, and designer shows. IT. Every year, the Kazan Summit hosts the Kazanois Youth Entrepreneurship Forum, is a global community and annual large-scale international youth entrepreneurship activity. Great opportunity for young people to compete for $25,000 in cash prizes for 30 best startups. What about finance? Every year, various halal lifestyle projects are presented at the summit, among them the Pay Zakat project, a global digital platform based on artificial intelligence for collecting and distributing charitable payments collected by the Muslim community for the benefit of the poor and needy. Fundraising campaign was launched for the virtual mosque project to provide people with disabilities with the virtual helmets. Using these helmets, people who cannot visit mosque will be able to do it virtually. In the frame of Kazan Summit, Sberbank also presented Sadakomat terminals for collecting non-cash and cash donation from Sadaka, mortgage product, housing, financing, which expanded the choice of halal. For those who are planning to enter the Russian market, Tatarstan is the best entry point. As part of the summit, the annual International Halal Industry Exhibition, Russia Halal Expo, is held annually. This year, the Republic of Turkey received the largest stand, measuring 500 square meters. Russia Halal Expo today is more than 100 exhibitors, 5,000 visitors from 11 countries and 8 regions, more than 5,000 square meters zoning by industry, food, clothes, finance, tourism, education, IT, medicine, non-grocery goods. The main purpose of Russia Halal Expo is to popularize the halal industry in Russia, establish trade, economic, social, cultural relationship, demonstrate the potential of the halal segment of the economy, and provide an economy to present products to potential buyers and trading partners. So this year, more than 4,500 people registered for the summit. Over 100 representatives of chambers of commerce and industry confirmed their participants. The forum was attended by representatives of 37 Russian chambers of commerce and industry from 38 regions, 9 representatives of foreign chambers of commerce and industry. During the plenary session, it was announced that next year, within the framework of Kazan Summit 2022, the World Halal Day will be held. Among the key tasks of the World Halal Day 2022 to bring investors and businessmen from the whole world together, development of the halal-oriented tourism, the development of innovative ideas, the creation of a freelance logistics center, the development of the Republic of Tatarstan as an integration center of the halal trade. So we invite exhibitors to take part in the exhibition in order to enter the world markets and announce widely about their products. Now we are in stage of active formation of a business program, and in each direction we have business partners. If you have any suggestion or want to hold your event within the framework of the summit, last year we had a 90 business international session, for example, we can negotiate favorable terms. We are looking for a talented designer for the fashion show and an organizer from the Turkish side as well who could be our CEO organizer. Please send us your suggestions. You can register on the summit website. It will be available from February 1st. Next International Economic Summit, Russia Islamic World Kazan Summit, will take place on 20-21 May in Kazan. And 2022 is a special year for us because May 21, 2022 is the millennium of the adoption of Islam by the Volga Bulgaria. And so on May 21st, we are going to the UNESCO Heritage City, the ancient Bulgar city. We invite you to take part in the large-scale platform for economic interaction between the Russia Federation and the countries of Islamic world. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sister Aina, for the information about the Kazan summit. Inshallah, Allah permits that we will meet there. She invited all of us to Kazan in May, I think. Okay, now we are sorry that before I make a mistake. I said last speaker. It was not last speaker. Now we have a last speaker, Mr. Fatih Ali. Fatih Ali is co-founder and CEO, Collab Dean, KitKot, Singapore. He served on the board of directors, where he focused on product innovation and growth, bringing consumers into global halal economy on one application. Fatih is passionate about solving complex real-world problems in a halal, permissible way. His vision is to combine humans and computers to solve large-scale problems that cannot be solved alone, seamlessly, and all at one touch using new consumer technologies. He's working on another revolutionary startup called KitKot. KitKot, that brings social interactions to any consumer applications. Before joining the Collab Dean, Fatih worked with the JP Morgan and Fidelity Investments and was leading the digital transformation in the bank. Fatih is well known across the global Islamic economy for the deep knowledge of Muslim consumer technology landscape and is often tapped as an expert to translate how trends may move from Asia to the West. He has received his bachelor's in computers and master's in business administration. He has been part of Y Combinator Startup School, USA, Accelerating Asia and Antler Startups Ecosystem, Singapore. Fatih won Entrepreneur Awards for his innovations. He is also as a Global Goodwill Ambassador for Singapore. Congratulations. And LinkedIn local lead, and he has been seen regularly at the many international events as a keynote speaker and industry experts in the consumer applications and halal tech space. He has been featured in various news and media for his contributions to global halal economy, nonprofits and tech-driven initiatives, invented mobile payment technology to help non-profits and communities double their fundraising revenue goals to solve humanitarian and social problems, digitality, supporting the UN's SDGs with digital inclusion, with financial and societal inclusion. Good.
Thank you so
CVs. We will see you. Welcome, brother.
Thank you,
will talk
Mr.
about
President.
super application and social plus consumer trends in halal lifestyle sector. Am I right?
That's true.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Assalam and good morning, everyone. So this is very exciting. I flew here for 12 hours from Singapore to Istanbul just to come here and talk to you. Literally talk to you about something that I've been thinking about for the last 5 years. My name is Fateh Ali. Once again, I represent Kidcot and Collabdine, a technology and social entrepreneur. I've played various roles with startups, especially consumer applications and deep technologies. Let's begin. We are living in the middle of a technological revolution with so much happening with technology and innovation in our everyday lives. Sometimes it's easier to wonder, are we at the end of the technology evolution? I believe we are still at the beginning of a lot of things to come. Seek knowledge, even if you have to go as far as China, is a popular adage in the Muslim world. I've traveled around the world across, main importantly from Southeast Asia and China. I've started seeing the digital technological trends that's not been seen in the West. And I'll be talking a few of these examples in my next few slides. In the large markets like India and China, consumers have access to everything on fingertips. Literally, hypothetically, if global Muslim consumer market was a country, Muslims would have been the largest country with 1.9 billion population. And it being one of the fastest growing population on one side, the ecosystem is fast growing in terms of economy with 5.2% year-on-year growth. Most importantly, there is the youngest median age of this young population with 65% of the users residing in Asia. What this means, especially when you focus on the gummies, the millennials are the 650 million in the world. Gummies stand for Global Urban Muslim Millennial Youth. Right? These youth are very much tech-savvy, tech-friendly, but where are those technology for these Muslim consumers to consume? Right? Now, I'll be talking about these 4 tech trends to take a look at. I'm going to talk about keeping an eye on that I'm excited about, and I really want you to think about how these technologies that I'll be sharing would actually implement within your sectors. Now, first thing, everything will become mobile first. What it means to go from mobile first to mobile only experience, where one's phone isn't just an access point, but an entry point to a lot of data. Next, everything will be super apps. Right? Halal consumer brands and companies will start working together to better understand the application, really leverages social interactions to convince users to buy things. And these are the things that you'll start seeing in the next few minutes, but ultimately, next 5 years, how this is going to unfold is what I'm going to share. Mobile first, let's go with this. It seems like everyone has a mobile phone. Are we actually at the end of the technological era of disruption? If you look at it, average daily time spent using the internet by each internet user is 6 hours, 54 minutes, out of which 92.6% are actually going digital first. What this means, are we building things which within our global Islamic ecosystem with the mindset of mobile first? What's possible? Apps like WeChat and Alipay in China, Grab in Singapore, Gojek in Indonesia shows us what's possible when an entire country leapfrogs over the PC era directly to the mobile. So from a consumer point of view, if you have to build something, start with mobile first experience. And a few of the examples is what I'll be sharing. While the context and nuances differ significantly, there are a lot of product ideas that companies can learn from Southeast Asia. Mobile first, right? For the phrase mobile first, people in the West think we are already on mobile phones all day long. Does that mean, are we already mobile first? Not really. The developer mindsets have actually evolved in the Asia. It means to go from mobile first to mobile only, where one's phone isn't just an access point, but an entry point for a lot of data. When you start thinking when I started reading and understanding more of the trends that's coming from Asia and specifically China, the Western market is not really adapting to these things. If you have a problem to be solved technologically, you first have to approach through, see if there is an option for you to get started with phone camera, proximity sensors, motion detections, audio and voice first. If that's an experience that the end users want to enjoy, that you have to build for them first. So WeChat in that sense has fully mobile-only experience that does everything in-app. Now, one such example for this Muslim app is Collabdine. It has built solutions with mobile-first experience, augmented reality and AI engine to solve some of the use cases. For example, in this picture you see, you can just pick up your phone and see what are the nearby restaurants halal places around. Just swipe left. With an augmented reality view, you'll start seeing if there are nearby masjids, mosques, find Qibla, find nearby events. So these are some of the use cases of going mobile first, which is not really possible with a PC. Right? Let's also experience this example. You enter a supermarket and pick up a meat packet. Say in this example, Crescent Food, there's a whole chicken pack. When I left at it and scanned through my phone, imagine this collabdine as you're scanning your product, and you can actually see who is the certifying body, when was the egg laid, when was it actually grown into chick, when was it actually slaughtered, and what is the best time to consume before the expiry. So if you can get that level of detailed information, then you're really building something for the consumers. Present day example, how facial recognition is being used in business and safety measures, how ear share is the new mind share, and what it means for halal businesses and marketers. You might have definitely tried Clubhouse. You might have seen Spotify. These are things that marketers are sitting in your ear and whispering in what they really want to. Within the global Islamic economy, do we have something that we are really focusing from a product point of view that can really utilize from a mobile-first experience? Now, everything will become super apps. How many of you have heard super apps? How many of you actually have used it? Now, if you live in the US, you have actually heard of super apps. If you live in Asia, probably you would have used one. Now, eMarketer's report in 2019 said mobile devices usage will go beyond the TV usages. So what this means, there is a problem in the average person and spending over 3 hours of that time on apps, and only the small reminders are being spent in the mobile browsers. So do we have enough applications that's been built for the consumers through mobile? Now, majority of the user consumers still download 0 apps per month, say the report. People spend their time in same handful of apps, but nobody's actually installing new apps. So there is a gap. So on one side, there are a need of a lot of mobile apps, but nobody's actually installing. So this is actually taken care through the answer of super app. So the answer to solve these problems would be super apps. Now, how does it work? Super app is a marketplace for services and offerings delivered via in-house technology and through third-party integrations, a lot of them. And this is where the collaborations within the global Islamic economy would happen in the next 5 years. You'll start seeing more and more apps coming in and trying to beat this. There are already many popular super apps, including China's WeChat, Alipay, India's Paytm, Singapore's Grab, Indonesia's GoTo, Vietnam's Zalo, and South Korea's Kakao. These are the apps that's been proven in the market, larger market, and we have an opportunity to really tackle something within the global Islamic ecosystem, being closer to the 2 billion Muslims. I'll just show you an example of one day of WeChat. There's a 1-minute kind of video. Early in the morning, this individual is discovering some moments from his friend on this app called WeChat, looking the feeds through some of the posts and updates, news feeds from his friends, getting up, getting ready to go to the office, but before the office, he's scanning something on the cart, doing the payment to pick up some food, getting into the bus. As getting to the office, while on the office, on the same app, he's still reading some latest information and posts relevant to him. And once he reaches office, he's using the apps before the office starts to play some games, catch up with friends, leave some voice messages and audios, images, and by end of the day, he's kind of looking to see what else he can do on this app, goes for the shopping on the same particular app. He's not leaving the app, he's on the same place. Now he actually goes out, does the shopping, get into a restaurant with his friends, finish up foods, do the bill payment, splitting within the same app, pays it out, and he's done. He's commuting back to home. On the way, he's on the same app. He's connecting and collaborating with his friends. He's giving up the red packet called ED that we traditionally call. And then at the end of the day, he's still using the same app to play some games. What actually this means is there is enough of things that you can do it on single app by collaboration. Do we have an opportunity for collaborating within the global Islamic economy? I think this is the time. If you really want to see collaboration happening, this is the time you have to begin, because technology is almost mature to get you there and let it do it. So it's really fast-moving pace of technology, and the user population, especially the youth, millennials in this ecosystem, are really looking out for latest and greatest technologies. All that they see is, when you call it a Muslim app, it's only faith-driven. Do you have something that is consumer-driven, business-driven? I think these are the things that really requires within the global Islamic economy. So just to summarize this segment, cross-border innovation in halal lifestyle consumer space is really possible. One app that rules the segment, so there might be different segments that can really fit in. Think how we can use our existing audience and resell, reshare the same thing within the same audience. So learn into the mobile-first experience. Think what can your app do that wouldn't be possible in the PC era. Third, everything will become social plus. This is a very interesting and most happening topic for the future. You must have seen the evolution. It started from bulletin board system of social to the ages of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and many other things that you have seen throughout these ages, especially in the last 10, 15 years. But what is next is it's all about super apps, metaverse, you might have heard from Facebook, social plus, Web 3.0. These are the decentralized social technologies. What does this mean? The best version of every consumer product is the one that's intrinsically social. This was called out by Eric Gulikan from Anderson Hazard. And it's not just him that's been talking about social plus. China's internet companies adopting new social plus business model to succeed. On the other side, you see Hootsuite mentioned in 2021, brands will humanize their consumer experience online through intimate in-feed formats. What are these things? What does it mean? You need to bring in your interaction layer of your technology with your business layer. So these two things has to work hand in hand. A few examples, right? Amazon versus Pinduoduo. Pinduoduo is one of the fastest grown application in China. What it does is it has e-commerce, plus it's also implemented shopping with friends and families. You have a collective people coming together to do shopping. It's a peer-to-peer shopping. And gaming has been revolutionized with Fortnite. Likewise, social plus finance, from interactive brokers to eToro, where P2P interaction is actually building up, dictating how competing with Facebooks and Instagrams within your app. It's going to be very difficult. It might take 6, 8 months, 12 months to even build the basic layer of the technology. But there's an API for everything in this world. If you look at it, if you want to integrate payments within your platform, you don't really sit and build payments. You go and integrate Stripe. Likewise, chats for Sendbirds, Twilio for SMS. If you want to really get the location and maps data, you go through Google. Likewise, on the right-hand side, you see social. KitKat is solving this through social. This is a company that I've formed recently, backed by Antler. We're building the world's most impactful in-app social infrastructure for the internet. Let me give an example of a very famous brand, Modernista. This is an hypothetical inspiration case study. Currently on their app, what they do is they have range of products that have been listed. On the right-hand side, you click on it, go out to the checkout for the payments, and then you're done. There are, as from the previous session, I learned there are 30 million active users on Modernista. But are they building a community around it? Are they interacting with their own users? Or are they doing it outside on Facebooks, on Telegrams, on WhatsApp, and wherever? So if they want to bring in that news feeds, community, user-generated content, chats and groups and live streamings, ratings, how is it possible? This is an experience. After integrating Social Plus, within about 1 week's time, you'll be having your own community where consumers, brands can share their own content. For example, if I purchase something, my wife can unbox a Modernista package and share that experience. Instead of posting on Facebook, I can post back on the Modernista app, which will actually build that whole community experience, right? Doing things within the app, with social feeds, with in-app chats, with groups, in-app live. When we talk about in-app live, social commerce is so much evolving, with almost 10 million consumers every evening in China sitting and trying to improvise how they could actually shop. Community takes all the power of Social Plus, so we should see how Islamic finance, halal travel, halal food, modest fashion, and everything else can really incorporate the social flavor within their consumer experience. Everything will become social commerce. Like I said, this is a live streaming shopping from China, one of the hottest trends in China. Every night, tens of millions of people watching live show hosted by influencers and buy the products they recommend on e-commerce and social apps like Taobao and Douyin, the sister app for TikTok. These are the trends. What does this mean? Social commerce is any form of e-commerce that really leverages social interactions to convince us to buy things. You might call up your sister, your friends, and aunts to really understand if this product is good. How about building that integrated within your platforms? Now, transforming the online shopping experience, we are carving social interactions, but you know the idea of shopping with others, with friends, has really taken off this because of the fastest growing segment that we have, and especially with pandemic in space, that has really revolutionized how technology is actually being consumed. So do we see something that's coming up within the global ecosystem in the next few years? Yes, it is. Social commerce has become the new shopping mall for everyone. It's just about the Islamic ecosystem adapting and creating this new shopping mall in the limelight. Now, in conclusion, there is an immediate opportunity to tap into these disruptive technologies for the global halal marketplace. With that, I would love to see a super app, a social plus apps coming up within the global Islamic economy very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, brother Fatih Ali. This is the was last speaker. Now give chance to questions. Any questions specific to any speakers? And we're ready to answer. Are you hungry? MashaAllah. Thank you. Welcome, brother. Mike, please.
First of all, thank you very much. My name is Ismail Vardak, and I'm a university student. My question is, why we cannot find halal products in Europe market chain, and all the Hoffer, Spar, and so on. And besides, because there are so many Muslims living there. Even, for example, I have been in those countries, I couldn't find halal certified products. It's so difficult if you want to find. And what's the reason? And why Muslim countries do not take action and do something for that? Thank you very much.
To whom?
To all panelists.
All panelists. You have to select one.
Yeah. Okay, Professor.
So Aldin, I will ask European. Yeah. Only Aldin is from European. He can answer. Yeah.
No. Okay, thank you for your question. We know this because we are living in these countries. We were born there, and this is our problem. When we were a child, they raised us what to eat, what not to eat. Even our parents didn't know actually in some products that there's some gelatin and other things. That's why we have this halal standardization, halal certification, and etc. I know it's hard. I'm living that every day, but in the European Union, actually you have more and more products which are halal certified, especially in big countries like France or Germany. You can find everywhere halal products. In some countries where the Muslims are minority, it's harder. You must always see the package, see is there any halal logo. If there is no, you will not eat it. You will become vegan or vegetarian in that way. This is the problem. And from the other side, when you said that Muslim countries can do something, maybe, but these are the political reasons, political decisions which are happening. And as you can see in many European countries now, the halal slaughtering is forbidden, and etc. Many things will happen. So you will choose in this way, only try to find the halal logo.
Please.
I think, let me add on one more point here. No? We always talking about negative side, problem, challenges. In my opinion, the experience will be two countries, Japan and Korea. the Muslim community get together. They started halal supermarket near the masjid. We can start. Nobody will stopping us. So if you are living in such a country, very difficult to find halal product, you are a Muslim community within the country. Make sure you have a social network. Bring the friends, your relatives. Let's start near the masjid, one supermarket. Your problem will be solved. This is what the Japanese is doing. This is what the South Koreans are doing it. So we always thinking negative side. This has become an issue. I'm not getting halal food. Nobody can stop what I want to eat, correct? So let's create your market. Then later the government, the people which we are talking about, they will be adapting your system. Instead of complaining something, let's start in a positive manner. Let's start something from the local entrepreneurship. Give them a chance to someone. Or you can do crowdfunding within your community. That is the way we need to approach. We are always talking into negative side. We are always talking about complaint. Let's think about the positive side. Nobody is stopping us to open a halal mart or halal meat within your country. Nobody is stopping. So this is a positive approach we need to adapt in our life. Thanks, Aladdin. No, even I visited Croatia. They have a supermarket near the masjid. And they are creating their own food. They are supplying to the Muslims within the community. In the few cities, they already started. This is the model we need to adapt.
Thank you. Another questions? Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shoaib. I'm from the United Kingdom. My question is for Brother Fatih. You mentioned in your talk, by the way, brilliant talk, you talked about disruptive technologies. Facebook recently acquired Oculus, the VR head maker. What role do you think VR is going to play in the development of the ecosystem you're describing, considering it's going to become the next disruptive technology and the metaverse is built around VR?
Brilliant question. At this time and age where the VR has been dying in a sense, only Oculus or likes of Facebook is trying to, overcome this. So I think it's kind of, for me personally, I believe quite hardware-driven on first sense, and on the second hand, the technology that requires to build that, it's huge. It's very expensive, both in terms of software, because you have to bring that whole virtual augmented and virtual realities together. It's a bit expensive as compared to any other technologies. So very few people put their hands into this, but in the larger sense, people who really want to see, for example, Metaverse is trying to see how they can connect to both the worlds, virtual and physical together. I think that's something that we need to wait and watch how it unfolds. Thanks.
Thank you. No, any more question? No question. We can conclude our session, because this afternoon we have two important sessions. One is both about our health. One is gelatin, the other is pharmaceuticals. Totally we have 8 speakers from different countries, from SMIC also, from private sector, from the governmental institutions. All of you invited for 2 important sessions. I want thanks to our friends this session, for Sister Shari, Mohammed Jinnah, and Dr. Aldin, and Mr. Fatih Ali, and our sister Aina. Welcome. Thank you very much. A big applause to them. And
okay, thanks to all our speakers for their comprehensive presentation on this topic, which was on halal in rapid changing world. Now we are giving a World Halal Summit plaque to them. Then for the plaque ceremony, yes, please, Mr. Hassan Ovid, the CIMIC Secretary General, and Mr. Zafer Soilu, the HAC Chairman of Board of Directors, will give plaque them. Now, first, Ms. Amna Shari, the Group CEO and founder of Serunai Commerce from Malaysia. Thank you, Ms. Amna, for your contribution. You honor us today on World Halal Summit stage. Thank you. Mr. Muhammad Jinnah. Please, thank you for your contribution. So it was a pleasure for us to have you on World Halal Summit stage. Thank you, Mr. Jinnah. Assistant Professor Dr. Aldin Dugonic from Croatia. Thank you, Professor, for your contribution, for your presentation. Thank you, Mr. Fatih Ali from Singapore, CEO of Kolabdin and Kitchot. Thank you, Mr. Fatih, for your presentation. Yes, and finally, Ms. Aina Sergeyeva, the Press Secretary of Russia Islamic World, Kazan 2022. Thank you, Ms. Aina Sergeyeva. Yeah, now, time to family picture, so please take your plaques for the photo. So thanks to all our speakers, thanks to our moderator. Thank you very much. So distinguished participants, now we are giving a break. And then see you at 14 here in the cell of Istanbul Congress Center. Now it's break, 1 hour break. So see you at 14 for the session 8, a new beginning for halal gelatin and testing. See you. So değerli katılımcılar, şimdilik bir öğlen aramız olacak. 1,5 saatlik bir öğlen ara. Saat 14'te yine burada 8. oturumda hepinizi bekliyor olacağız.